U.S. Attorney General's office estimates some 4 million children are affected by domestic violence yearly.
63% of domestic violence offenders had either seen their mothers abused or had themselves been abused.
Tonight, as Jeanette Trompeter continues her series on domestic violence, Till Death Do Us Part, she looks at the impact of the crime on children. It must be devastating.
Yeah, these are often the silent victims in abusive homes. And before we look at this issue, I want to let you know that in a few minutes, I'm going to be giving out some numbers on where you can get help if you're caught in an abusive relationship, so you might want to have a pen or pencil handy. As we continue to look at the problem of domestic violence in our society, we want to focus our attention tonight on the victims who are often ignored in homes where violence is a problem. We look at the children of domestic violence.
Out came the sun and dried the ball away, and the influence to dry went up the wall again.
Childhood is a time of innocence and exploration. For children raised in healthy, happy homes, it is a time of joy and delight as each new experience provides wonderment and excitement. But when these curious and inquisitive minds are infused with images of violence and anger, their tiny worlds of wonderment become tainted with fear, confusion, and anxiety.
As soon as you have a witness, you have a third kind of abuse going on, and so frequently the child is labeled as having undergone witness abuse, and that is when you, let's say you're under 5, and eidetic memory is the first memory, that's picture memory, and so what you're absorbing, click, 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 are a series of pictures of domestic violence.
Children receive messages the world is not a safe place, that mom and dad can't take care of them, and that they need to take care of themselves. Children of domestic violence are forced to become little adults.
The next level is that they see themselves as responsible for stopping what's going on. So you get a role reversal where the child is searching in their head for ways to parent the parents. Now you're getting into emotionally arrested children, children who spend the day in preschool or school thinking about what occurred last night, either trying to deny it or make sense out of it or figure out how to make it stop. One of the ways that children are damaged is that they've been modeled dysfunction forever. And so inevitably, they find that instead of reacting differently when they're in an adult relationship, they then imitate. If you can imagine, you're looking in a mirror because your parents are a mirror, and you're seeing a victim and you're seeing an abuser, and that's what you're seeing for 18 years straight. And so those are the voices that have become entrenched in your head. The silent crime very often too, in that children will become overly functional in other areas of their life. So you're just as likely to have a very high-achieving child at school who doesn't show up.
But visible or not, the wounds are there, and eventually they will surface, even if it takes years.
They will be perhaps the child who contains the pain and contains the effects of domestic violence until they're adults, and it breaks down for them in relationships.
Dolores Wingy knows all too well how violence in the home affects children. Hers grew up with it most of their lives, and though Dolores took most of the physical abuse, she realizes now how her children were being wounded by the violence.
These children are hurting, and they shut down. And it takes a long time for them to get well.
The carefree world of a child ends quickly enough, even in a happy home. Domestic violence ends it even sooner and robs innocent young lives the security they need to function as healthy adults later on.
Just get out. These are your spirits, and you don't want to damage them anymore.
Now I know my baby. Next time won't you sing with me?
Again, we want to give you some numbers you can call for help if you are in an abusive relationship. There are resources available all over the Central and South Coast, and I want to point out that even though most of these numbers are for victims, if you're an abuser who wants help to end the cycle of violence, there are places you can go for anger management assistance and counseling. I suggest you call hotline at 1-800-549-8989 or ask for the Center for Alternatives to Violence at the Women's Shelter. That number is 544 3494. Most of these numbers can also offer referrals or help. There are also a number of good books available. One of them is called The Resilient Self. It is for people who have lived in troubled families, and it is aimed at helping you heal. Now, books like these are good, but in most cases they should be combined with counseling. And a lot of people say counseling is too expensive, but there are resources out there for low cost or free counseling. So make the call, get some help, and let's save these children.
And you can't put a dollar value on saving your life, your children's life, or your life.
Yes.
That's right. Thanks, Jeanette.
You bet.